Shalom, friends. It's Rabbi Jenny Solomon here at Beth Meyer Synagogue with a Mincha moment. This week's Torah portion is Vayera. It is chock full of lots of action and drama with our sort of origin story of Avraham, including the binding of Isaac. But it opens with a simple verse. Avraham is visited by God. It says that God appears, Vayera, to him among the trees of Mamre, where Avraham is sitting petach ha'ohel, at the opening of his tent in the hottest part of the day. Each of these details is sort of a Devar Torah in and of itself. But I wanted to offer this. So much of life is about sort of building distress tolerance. I tell this to my kids all the time. It's about learning how to self-regulate and orient ourselves when life is hard and uncomfortable, when we'd rather run away and hide under the coffee table or in the house and never come out, and shield ourselves from the discomfort of life. But Avraham models for us actually something quite beautiful. First of all, he situates himself in nature. I'm sure it's not a coincidence that God appears to him among the trees. So we're reminded to be in connection with the natural world. And he finds shelter. He makes sure that he has some measure of comfort around him to protect him, but also that he sits at the opening of the tent. He does not close himself off entirely from the world around him. He stays open and available. So this is what I want to share. For many of us, whether it's due to what's happening in Israel, Gaza, Lebanon, or what's happening in our own country here in America as we anticipate many different transitions and shifts in our government structure and the people that inhabit those positions of power, or we're just looking at our own personal lives. There's a lot to make us really uncomfortable. There's a lot of ways in which we might experience ourselves as sort of sitting in the heat of the day. And I think one of the things that our spiritual practice can help us do is really train in how to be with this experience. So some of the things that I try to do are, first of all, to notice where I'm finding shelter. First of all, to create shelter for myself, but then notice where I'm finding shelter. Maybe it's the shelter of friendship, people who really understand me, the shelter of community, the physical shelter of giving myself rest and good food and opportunities for taking a time out and just being quiet. All of these things provide a kind of shelter, like Avraham's tent. Getting out into nature, sort of right-sizing my problems and remembering that this is still a beautiful, miraculous, created world of which we are all a part. And then also staying connected, sitting at the tent, at the open part of the tent, and seeking out connection in the right amount, wherever connection is possible. And finally, really practicing just in my own contemplative practice on noticing what is in fact going right, noticing where I can find pleasantness, noticing all the things that are still working, even while some things are not to my liking, and befriending my experience, trying to be a good friend to myself, a compassionate friend, a merciful friend, and trusting that I'm not doing this alone. So we are in good company with our forefather Avraham when we allow ourselves to sit at the entrance of the tent, even amidst discomfort and distress, and staying connected to the natural world around us, connected to other good people, connected to our values, connected to our spiritual practice. I think that's one of the ways that we move through even hard times, especially hard times. All right, friends. Peace. Shalom.